Hi, and welcome once again to What's the Damage, companion show to the incredibly well-known and popular actual play D&D show Roll for Damage. Your assassins continue to fail, and thus we are back again this week. On Friday, the Shields of Twilight ventured out and again into the breach on a daring mission to pick some flowers. Of course, things didn't go as smoothly. Didn't go smoothly at all, otherwise there wouldn't be a plot. They ran into some strange creatures blocking their paths, totally kicked those creatures' asses, no problem. But then things heated up a little bit as Perry set herself on fire, destroying all her stuff. Then, as Perry was still mourning the loss of all of her stuff, the party came face to face with a massive dragon who told them in no uncertain terms to fuck the hell off or get set on fire. They fucked off. But off was apparently not the kind of fucked the Campion wanted to be, because he headed back to confront the dragon and got roasted for his trouble. So I think the moral of this episode is fire is bad and it will ruin your day. We'll be discussing fire safety tips as well as how to deal with curses in just a moment. As always, stick around after the stream for interesting stuff, useful links, and cool places to send your money. I'm your host, Truth Venson, and this is What's the Damage? Fire Edition. Welcome back. We've got two wonderful guests today. We've got Laura, who plays Peregrine, who had a rough episode, and we have Jay, who plays Campion, who also had a rough episode. Hi, guys. I think I know what the damage is this time, but let's get your reactions anyway. Go.
I mean, I'll say what we're all thinking. What the fuck, Jay?
Yeah, man. I thought I was playing chicken with the DM, and
Did you genuinely think that?
Yo, I did, dude. I was like, man, this is like the fox. Like I knew the fox transformed into the dragon, so I was like, okay, but then why did the fox not stop us going into the horde But I was like, okay, cool, but it was like a dragon, and I was like, yo, but she said like there was like some kind of like fairy type thing, so I'm thinking like, oh, this is some like fey pixie magic, flowers. I'm thinking like they're protecting the flowers, but they're using an illusion. So I'm like, yo, I'm a call these pixies out of their own game. And it did not work out.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay, I've never played under you as a DM, but your plots must be so convoluted.
I mean, like, it's terrifying what those must be like.
It's insane. My thoughts.
Oh, we
because
love it.
I could not follow his train of thought for doing this, and like all I could do was have Perry like just start screaming, "No, you're not. You're wrong. This is wrong. Please don't do this."
And then Quinn was like, Yeah.
Yeah, then he just stands there.
Yeah, it was
and at this point, like, I'm just in absolute shock. So I just have Perry just stand there staring at Baltaim because I'm like, what am I gonna do?
It's like, is this happening right now? Yeah.
Yeah, and Quinn was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna apologize. I'm like, Quinn, you don't have to apologize. It's not real.
That was the thing. And like everybody else was like, let's chill, and then go back up and like let Quinn apologize or something. Let's be cool about this. Nah, Campion ain't got no chill.
Yeah, bro. There's no time. Campion's gotta get these flowers, go back to civilization. Okay?
Tune in next week for the consequences of Campion's behavior.
Oh, yeah, no.
I think we saw some of those consequences this week, too. A little bit.
I mean, I can't believe he looked Perry in the eye and said it was worth it while she had nothing left.
It was worth it.
You keep thinking that. Tune in next week for how that turns out for Campion.
Now you have information unlike dragons. Especially golden dragons.
Yeah, they breathe fire.
They breathe fire and they protect little magical flowers filled with magic dust. Okay? Yeah.
It's all for the pursuit of the natural sciences. Science, yo. Fantasy zoology.
I know, dude. You know, we just get you a new book and then you know, yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's no sentimental value to the one thing she brought with her from her village where everyone is dying.
Yeah, she gave a whole speech about it.
Like Campion does not care. Campion's an ass.
There's a disconnect. Campion, like he understands. Like journals are a thing, but he has like 80 something fucking journals filled with like bullshit. Yeah. He's just like, just get a new journal.
Yeah, you have different associations.
Yeah, exactly.
With journal.
You know. Yeah. Plus, there's always a weird disconnect for Campion. He doesn't think like normal people, man. He doesn't process things like normal people. So it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
He's not malicious or anything. He just occasionally there's a disconnect socially.
Very oblivious.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting dynamic for a party that's struggling to come together.
Yeah.
Like we sorted out one problem and traded it for Campion.
Exactly. But it's a good problem.
Sure
he saved your life. He
later.
saved your life.
Yes, but then he also, now Perry realizes, robbed Perry of an essential discovery.
Sacrifices.
Campion's gonna get mauled next week if he keeps this up.
Oh my god! Mauled. Yeah, tune in to see like Barry kicking Campion around like a beach ball.
All through the streets of Suma, y'all.
Oh man.
An entire episode of just Campion bouncing down the street.
Oh my god, yeah, it's like this like Zuma anime control is like, can we do anything? Should we do something?
Just let it.
I got 8 hours of that shit.
Just let it happen.
I wonder if it's legal in Zuma to like be a rampaging bear. Are there any laws specifically against that? We'll find out next week. See Barry go to jail. Okay, awesome. That's our intro today, guys. It's a bit lengthy. So you guys we're gonna start with like the pink cheese pool because I just thought that was such an interesting image and experience for you guys. So you've been coming up lately against some like gross, weird stuff in the woods. And I've asked like Perry's perspective, like as a druid on all this mutation stuff, but for Campion, this must be like scientifically fascinating. Like, I'm not sure how much like botany he does or whatever, but weird shit.
A lot more now that he has like, you know, experience in herbalism and everything. But yeah, you really wanted to sample out this pollen. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. If he would have tried to sneak a little bit extra of the pollen, you know, just between me and the audience. I know it's bad, but yeah, for science, he would have done that. So yeah, dragon thing might have happened anyway. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, no, honestly, it was cool. It seemed very intriguing. Especially like how like most people would find this fucking like dust in caves, like it was like supposedly like found in caves, but like now it's in a fucking flower. So like you like what's going on there, man? You know, that's intriguing. Like, what's the half-life of these flowers? You know, where do they come from?
Half-life
Exactly.
of the spirit blossoms.
I know,
like,
I know.
I know.
They
were glowing.
I know, exactly. You know, might be some radioactive bullshit, dude.
Apparently, magic is radiation.
Exactly.
Just in D&D, magic is just everything is radioactive.
Radioactive.
Ask Campion.
Resident scientist. My God. Thing is, like, this isn't our world, so this could all be right. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I see the DM's face and I'm like, well, Campion's just crazy.
Like, dude, like the things I say, and I look at Serenity and fucking oh, Jake, dude, he's just like, Jesus Christ,
Jake.
Man. Like, he just wants to say things so hard. He's just like, I'm just gonna just chill right here.
Yeah, because he's a science teacher, so like it's this deep instinctual urge.
Yeah, you glance over and his eye is twitching, and you're like, oh no, no, there's gonna be an aneurysm soon.
Yeah, I keep expecting to look over and just see like he's popped open like a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, the majority of the time I don't do it on purpose, but then like when I see him, like he's going into it,
I can be obnoxious now.
I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go even deeper into this. Yeah.
Oh, the truth revealed.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Jake,
bullying
sorry.
At the table.
Sorry, not sorry, Jake.
Oh my God.
I mean, that is kind of half the fun, though. Is we've got people who know stuff, like real stuff, and then we've got the fake science happening.
Exactly, dude.
Happening so enthusiastically too.
Yeah.
I know. It's so good.
Oh my God.
I enjoy it all the time, and then Serenity is like, especially when I try to use levitate, and she's like, bro, you still have, like, you know, gravity's not on you, but you still have mass, you know, and I'm just like,
when the DM explains the science.
But do I though? Do I? And then she's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh my God.
Can I convince the DM that I know more about her world than she does?
Exactly. Can I bullshit
spoiler
this
alert,
as much as
not
possible?
ever gonna happen.
Okay.
You know what? If somebody like bullshit a good enough reason to me and like it sounded good, I'd probably let them do
just
it.
Like, fuck it, you're right now.
Yeah, I'd be like,
That's
okay, yeah, that is how it works. Sure. Oh my God. Cool beans. So, I want to talk about for a minute your little combat with those weird purple things, because Campion kicked some ass during this. It's bloaty.
Oh yeah, dude, it was sick, man. The digital dice gods were blessing me with
that was amazing.
Everything, dude. Like if you were to go back to like the session before that one, it was just like I was barely hitting it. So it was like, okay, we're gonna give him a pass this time. We're gonna do this now. You know,
we're gonna take it back once the
and exactly, the confidence was in me. I thought I was invincible, bro.
That explains so much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Later on, like at the end of the session.
Into Jay's mindset.
I know, dude. It was too much. The power was within me. I was corrupted. And yeah, dude. And so I was just like, oh, dude, I just shot these things. Oh my God, I just did 50 damage. I just did another 40-some damage. God. Oh my God, I'm God, bro. I'm God. Okay, let's do this. A dragon? This ain't a real dragon.
And punch it.
Become Iron Fist. That's just how I do it. Yeah, no, but I just like any person who gets a big head, they fall. Pride
comes before the fall.
I fell, man. The wax wings just melted, and I saw the bullshit, and I died. You know, almost died. I got burnt, and it was bad. And Serenity was like, okay, cool, here, I'm gonna make sure he's good. But yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was really scary. I was like, oh shit, did I just kill Campion?
Is this how it ends?
A small part of me was like, I'll revivify him, but I'm gonna let him die first.
Yeah.
I mean,
he deserves to feel that.
I wouldn't. Like, if I'd been there and have done something, but like a small part of me is like, he deserves this.
He deserves
Yeah.
this.
He deserves this for his hubris.
Yeah.
Hear him straight.
And then I would have came back as like a gnome or fucking, some kind of weird creature. I'm just like, okay, cool.
See, and that's also the danger.
Exactly.
Letting Campion die.
Exactly.
Like, this shit's only going to get
next?
progressively weirder. So, yeah.
As a promise.
Y'all can take that to the bank.
Mm-hmm. My God, it's all good. Certified. Anyway, so Perry, before the dragon and everything happened, Perry, to get her clothes set on fire for magic-y reasons, leaving you apparently only in bark armor with nothing underneath, like video game armor.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, pretty much. Like, cause we either bought or found like bark wrap armor. So like I have magic armor, but I own literally 3 magic items. So that was it.
Scandalous. Yeah. So sadly, Perry lost her sketchbook in the fire, and was really upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, when she left home, like, she still carries this like small amount of guilt for having left, even though she knew it was the right thing to do. And like, that was the one thing that she took from her favorite brother, who hands her a sketchbook and says, take this with you, bring back all the knowledge you find. You will see so much. Record it. Hold on to it. And so Perry has been meticulously collecting things. And like, there was a flower from using the water to bring back Oriana, and the drawing of Dobby, the Nat 20 drawing of Dobby after he died, which, like, for me, like, I imagine that was like almost a perfect image of the first real loss they ever experienced. And it's not the wild shapes that she drew to learn, because once she learned them, she was fine. But it's all of the other things, the knowledge she gained, on top of the sentimental nature of the book itself. And so, like, part of her is like, I really need to clean out the staff, and I need to send a message to Worrian, and it meant I lost the present you gave me. Because for her, like, it may seem like nothing to most people, but for her, it was like the one thing that mattered. The one thing she had that was hers. And so now she's lost that, and her art supplies and her seeds and her herbalism kit that she bought to help Campion.
Yeah.
I mean, this fire wasn't his fault.
No, but like, that's the thing, is like, part of why that like really sticks with her now is like, she reached out and touched that magic to try to help the group. And she paid for it. Campion went and did something selfish and arrogant, and he lost nothing but some regainable health. And comes down and he looks her in the eye and says, yeah, it was totally worth it. He went and robbed them of an opportunity to make things right, made things so much worse with Aaron, and humiliated them further. Robbed Perry of an opportunity to learn from something that was both nature and arcane, which she really wanted to learn about, and destroyed a natural wonder, because at that time she didn't know what she knew at the very last of the episode. And he lost nothing for it, and has not, in her mind, recognized what he did, or the fact that he got away with it. And so she's just devastated and furious. And partially the only reason she didn't lose her shit on him was because she touched that magic and it was destructive, and she's scared. If I do lose control again now, who knows what happens? What if I accidentally hurt him in a way that is unfixable? What if I accidentally kill my friend?
Emotional stuff. Yeah. So, did you guys steal a book from the library? I feel like there's some confusion about that. Do you have that book?
I accidentally, I think we did actually. Yeah,
I don't remember us picking
nodding.
it up. Like, I don't remember us picking it up, but there was like a lot happening at that time. So, I mean.
Yeah, because it was just when we found the doorway, and then it was just like, okay, what happens with the book? And then we're like, oh yeah, let's see. And then we got the idea just put it in the bag of holding, and then and then she took it out at the other side when we entered, and it was like, oh, it's still there. It's not like the book, fades out. It's still a real book, but now it's like a whole thing. And so we came like by the end, I think, of last session, we were like, oh shit, yeah, we have this book. What the fuck is the library gonna do? Like they must have some kind of magical way.
Yeah, the book wasn't there when Oriana reached for it, so they took their book back. But like, I didn't remember us picking it up.
Yeah.
So like, my whole thing was like, I remembered us taking the notes, and I remember I had said, leave the book, we don't need it. And then like there was so much happening, and then there was the confusion about the doors because none of us could figure out the doors. So I thought, no, we just took the notes, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, we'll find out if that matters. Probably does. But it might not. Who knows? You can just never talk to those people at the library again, ever. Which is what I did after I accidentally stole a book from the library in Philly when I was 5. I just never went back, ever. Actually moved to a different part of the state, unrelated. But,
fled the scene of her crime. She's a fugitive from librarians. Just admitting that on stream.
Just from the Philly library.
Philly library.
Yeah. So, and they don't know where I live. I'll mention it on stream, I hope. I hope I haven't. Anyway, so you guys met a very big, angry, and religious dragon called Youinfidels, who was very unhappy to see you. So was this a complete surprise to you guys, or like looking back, was there any like foreshadowing at all if there might be something big near the flowers, or?
I think if Perry had been in her right mind when it happened, she would have recognized that something was up with the fox. Because like I did, I was like, oh crap, what is with the fox? And also I should look at these flowers. But Perry is completely fucked up right now and not thinking straight. So it didn't click for her. But I was like, the minute we start moving toward the cavern, part of me was like, wait a minute. I don't think we're supposed to.
Up. Yeah.
Campion, it was where I had the idea. It was kind of like in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, I should detect magic. And then another thought came across, and I was kind of like thinking about that. And then I was just like, oh, and then it was just like, oh, we're moving, right? And it was like, oh shit, well, I mean, I guess we might as well like move on and shit. So then it just like, it's just straight up slipped my mind of like, yo, we should really like check these flowers and shit. And I was like, oh yeah, let's just go on, man.
It's like, ooh, fox.
Yeah, and I think my notes were also incomplete. Like I either didn't pick up something that Aaron said like early on, like when we got the thing, because I kept looking back and I was like, I don't have anything that tells me where I'm actually supposed to gather these.
Yeah, it was like Serenity, blue glow. She was like blue glow, and I was like, blue glow. I'm like flowers. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, that's noted. Yeah.
Like, okay, dope. Remember that time I saved Perry's life and also killed like 2 of those creatures on my own because I'm awesome?
Yeah.
Blue glow.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Fuck it, bro.
Those flowers are pretty. I'm so cool.
Yeah, Campion's still like just riding that I'm so cool vibe.
Yeah, dude.
Especially from like getting that big save.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was good. I love these glasses, and then
I also love that he has those
and then Serenity's like, you stole these glasses, and I was like, what, no? And I appropriated them. Yeah.
Nice big word, means the same thing.
We'll return them to their rightful owner once found. That's just how it is.
I guess. Awesome. Yeah. So I love how Campion vacillates so quickly between like quirky and actively insane. So is he just not aware that there are like good and bad dragons? Like how familiar is he with magical creatures in general?
Not whatsoever.
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, he was like, oh, this is a dragon? He's like, all he knows is dragons like gold, because of a father, a story, is his father told him about like, it was like a joke between like, oh, what's more greedier than a dwarf, and a gold coin.
So racist jokes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not racist because his father is also a dwarf.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. He's adopted.
Okay, it's okay when they say it.
Exactly.
Oh
Exactly. Don't twist this. Don't twist this, Truth.
Okay? I apologize. As a non-dwarf, I shouldn't have commented.
but yeah. So it was just like, oh yeah, the gold. All the dragons care about is gold. Why the fuck does it care about the fucking flowers? Okay, because it's not real.
Because it's not real.
Oh, I love that leap of logic.
Exactly.
Why did it count down?
My mindset was like, why was it counting? Why was it not blasting me with the fire? And then it was like, oh yeah, it's blasting with the fire now. I'm like, okay, cool.
Interesting. I'm gonna write this down.
And this is like 66 damage. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm done.
71,
yeah. 71.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool, yeah,
Campion like burned to a crisp, just like pulls out his little field journal and takes notes.
Yeah, when he was like healed, he was like, he just like, I'd imagine him like just like sit up and he's just like barbecued and he's just like, dragons are aggressive. Stay out of area. And then he falls back down.
It'd be really useful information for
somebody.
Exactly, dude. Oh, I love it. Right. So I'm actually really glad you guys didn't let Quinn apologize to the dragon, because I feel like that would have been the same thing, probably.
Quinn's he's more talkative now, right?
Yeah, but is he better at it?
I think he is.
Actually, he is.
Oh.
Yeah.
He is better. Well. And what's interesting is, and it's really weird because up until recently he wasn't a charisma class at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then
but
he switched over.
Baltaim is like supposed to be statistically our talker.
And Oriana.
He and Oriana. But like for a while now, it has been the two half elves that have like persuaded everybody to do all the shit. So I mean, I think that had Quinn gone up there, either had he gone up there and just did what he kept saying he was going to do, and just been like on his knees without armor, like, I'm sorry, I misunderstood, or we had waited like Baltaim and Perry and Oriana wanted to till the next day to do it, I think we would have probably been okay. We wouldn't have been allowed to pick those flowers right away because A, our DM is going to give us consequences for our fuck ups, and B, that just doesn't narratively make any sense if this dragon was going to literally barbecue us. Yeah, but I think we could have been able to make nice and had to have like earned it, but we wouldn't have had an absolute catastrophic world-ending failure.
Yeah, I suppose with an opportunity for and a higher enough persuasion check, you could be given some tasks to prove your worthiness or something by a dragon. That'd been cool, actually. That'd been really cool.
I mean, I would have been down for that, and that's what I was hoping we were going to get to do. And then Campion went up the hill.
God.
You know what I don't understand, and this is a genuine question for Jay on about Campion's choice. He's the one that told Oriana to call Aaron.
Yeah.
And then he didn't have the patience to like
Oriana
wait
was taking
for
way
the
too
message.
Long. Was way too long with this message.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
he was just like,
in the grand scheme of things, it might have taken her like 2 minutes max to actually do that.
Yeah.
But Campion's like, call Aaron. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, the whiplash I had for that choice.
Mm-hmm.
It was real.
Genuinely, I was curious as to why that happened.
It wasn't supposed to be real, but it was. Okay.
We all make mistakes. Sometimes we think dragons are unreal.
finally caught up to me. Okay, is that what you want to hear?
Yes.
Exactly. There you go.
It's so funny though, because it's not his hubris. It's not your hubris finally catching up to Campion. It's like the hubris of 30 minutes ago catching up. It's a very short like thing to consequence.
It was a quick arc.
A very quick turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick.
I will be
really
interested
quick.
to see if Campion actually learns from this, rather than just like writes it down in his journal and keeps walking.
Campion learns from everything.
Does he?
He's a little information sponge.
Let me be more specific. If he learns as a person and grows from this,
what does he learn from this aspect? Yeah, that's the question you should really be asking.
That's what I'm curious to see. Did he as a person learn from this mistake and grow from it? Or is this just another in a series of scientific experiments that Campion writes in his journal and later forgets?
Well, I mean, I feel like also that's kind of just how Campion perceives the world, kind of. Yeah.
It is an element to be studied, I mean, in his sense, because, I mean, he knew he was already on borrowed time anyway, and so he's just like, I want to know everything, and then now it's like, oh yeah, you might not be on borrowed time, but like, there's some shit going on, and he's like, okay, cool, and he's like, oh, a dragon, and he's like, oh, dragons are like mythical creatures, I wonder what like behaviors they would. Yeah, let's figure this out. It's an illusion.
It's not real. I mean,
this
just
isn't
like
normal dragon behavior. What? Exactly.
Nah, I'm like, no, I just like
it's
me
like,
personally. I'm like,
Serenity,
no, I don't think we're gonna fight
bitch.
it, but like, she'll put shit there for us to see and know about.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Interesting though. Yeah, so it's just interesting seeing how the different characters sort of interact with the storyline, with the plots. Like they're very different perspectives. Okay, so post Dragon, Bernie, Rip the Flowers. So Erin was real mad at you guys. She was very mad at you. So what do you now feel like is the future of the group with like Lux Eterna? Because you've been somewhat uneasy co-workers for a while. But
Lux Eterna, I feel they have their own thing. What's going on here? I mean, like, Lex has been on like kind of our main go-between that, but occasionally, we get Aaron and the Fulton, there we go. Yeah, Aaron and Fulton, they get in the mix, man. But they're not telling us everything. And Dobby picked this up really early in the bullshit. And Campion, he's not really like interested to even like investigate, but but like Jay's figuring though this could be some bullshit.
Gears are turning for Jay.
Exactly. I'm insane. But yeah, no. My theories are insane.
There's a cork board.
But there was seriously
just off camera.
There's seriously something not adding up with Lux Eterna, and I don't know. I do not trust Lux Eterna. Okay, even though they do give us the assistance, well, for what reason? Well, why? What are they getting out of this? They're not. What? You think they're superheroes? They're not the Avengers. Okay, what are they getting out of this?
I mean, the Avengers are pretty shady by the end of the movies too. So
exactly, Tony Stark. I love you 3000. Not this time.
3000. Not this time.
Not this time.
Ouch. Dip a dip.
I mean, I personally am not suspicious of Lux Eterna. I think they've got shit going on that we haven't bothered to ask about. And like, that's a thing that Perry is thinking about. Like, we've leaned on them because we've needed them. We've never, with the exception of like a few conversations with Lex and the interaction with Fulton, we haven't tried to find out what's going on. Me personally, I have a couple theories about like the couple we haven't met and that sort of thing. But like, I don't think that they're all like suspicious. I think we haven't bothered to find out what's going on. We're very wrapped up in our own situation and not thinking about, and it's actually kind of something that'll probably come out a little bit next session. Like Perry doesn't trust them implicitly, but she thinks that they're facing the same thing we're facing, and they faced it before, and they now realize that they weren't successful, possibly. And that's a huge thing. Like, oh, the big heroes did not finish the job. They were wrong. And now they're dealing with that. And Perry's thinking about that now that we've had those conversations. So Perry's like, she's mad about, like, because she hasn't put it together that Aaron couldn't tell us the whole truth. Like, once she puts that together, she will be less mad at Aaron about testing us. But like right now she feels like, well, they never really give us any respect. And then they keep asking us to do things that they already say we're not good at anyway. And then they punish us for failing. But at the same time, like, Perry's acutely aware that if we don't grow up and grow up soon, we're gonna die, and the whole world's gonna die with us. So for her, she's kind of picked up on they're right about us if we don't change. And like, Perry's doing her damnedest to grow up and to make things right. And so it'll be really interesting to see how the group grows up and deals with this, or doesn't, and falls on their faces.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too to see Perry like slowly lose patience with the status quo of the group. She's like, well, this is a cycle and it's pissing me off, and eventually I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah, that's coming. Tune in next week.
Tune in next week. Perry kicks everybody's ass.
Well, I mean, there is a sort of, she's realized, especially after that conversation at the end of the episode with Aaron, when Aaron said, I thought you at least would figure it out. Perry realizes, oh shit, I was caught up in my own bullshit, and I wasn't leading the group and pointing to what I knew. And look what happened because I didn't step up and take charge. So she's kind of at a point like, fuck it, I'm about to be in charge. The children are going to get in line so we don't die. So she's interesting.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about the conversation you had with Aaron right at the end?
I mean, part of it is something that, like, I as a player have been thinking a lot about. Because it's not that Perry has been like absently reaching for that wild magic. She's been doing it in a very controlled setting. But for the first time, when she did it and she wasn't really thinking about it and trying to control and do, and she didn't know what to do, it was highly destructive. So she's gotten an inkling of, wait a minute, what if I try to make it do things? What if I know what I want and I try to make that happen? Because when she first used it in an effective and productive way back at the Arbor, it was literally an attack. She could do something and manifest it. So it should be interesting to see once she gets over the wallowing in her own failure, where she goes with, and I kind of have an idea of what she's going to do, where she goes with trying to learn to actually understand what it is and how it works, and how to control it. And also, bless the DM for the tiny bit of hope, because Perry had a hell of a last half of that session.
Yeah, I feel like Perry's character arc is just about to like roll over onto the next side, because I think that thing with her wild magic too, the desire to leash it and be able to use it for her own purposes, is kind of the same as her desire to take control of the group and to be a leader within the group. Like, she's becoming proactive. She's ready to stop letting things happen to her.
Yes.
That's my interpretation.
It's actually pretty accurate, because that's sort of been her whole thing. Things happened to her and happened to her and happened to her. And the first thing she did that was actually proactive was leave. The choice to step out of the forest and do something about it. But then after that, she just kept letting shit happen to her. And like, it's been a gradual, like, okay, well, fine, enough. And, you know, she stepped up and she argued with Oriana and helped fix their friendship. And now she's realized, okay, fine. I can't keep watching the world go by and slap me in the face. If I want to save my people, if I want to save the world, I have to be the one to do it.
Mm.
So I am interested in seeing where things go, because there is like one more place before we leave Zuma that Perry really needs to go, and this should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zuma's been a busy city, and we did move on to the topic for today because we're like 10 minutes late. It's fine though. We're just having a chill time. So the topic for today is curses. Everybody's favorite. So curses are obviously nasty little buggers that can really fuck up your day. So let's start with a bang. What's the nastiest curse you've ever been hit with in game?
Oh, my character went like full insane.
What happened?
Yeah. Oh, they were trying to acquire ultimate power.
So they were already a bit insane.
Well, okay. Well, it was for the greater good, and
I see.
they put on this crown. They put on this crown, and the crown was cursed by by the game's kind of like version of Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, it was like a mischief god, and totally drove my wizard insane. It was cool. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So you went like full Ice King.
Exactly.
Nice.
It was amazing,
Nice.
dude.
Nice.
Yeah. My party had to actually hold me down, and they would have to give me special medicine in order to keep my sanity. And when I'd go insane, it was pretty intense. Level 10 wizard slinging some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Nice.
I hesitate to say this with the DM in the back of the call, but I don't think I recall my character in any game getting hit with anything particularly nasty.
Oh,
so like I said, DM's hiding in the back of this call, remembering that Laura has never had a character get cursed. But really, I don't think I have. Like the worst, honestly, some of the worst things that have happened have been like little temporary things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'm cursed now and I don't know it. There have been some failed perception checks. We don't know what's happened to me. There have been times like, never mind.
Yeah, conceivably, you could just like keep failing perception checks and never know.
Never notice you've been cursed.
Yeah.
Until you die.
And you're like, wait, it's a weird way to die. Oh, yeah. So what would you guys say is like the difference between a curse and like a temporary effect like blind or frightened or dazed or anything like that?
I don't know. For me, I feel like a curse can be multi-layered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it can be, you're getting fucked. But it can also mean that you now have access to a whole nother level of bullshit. I.e., maybe a rollable table,
Always
or
good.
now you're having visions of the future. I've done something like that, like exactly how you're going to die, and it's slowly causing you exhaustion. It's crazy, dude. Yeah, man. Where like a temporary status effect is like, yeah, I mean you can word it to where like, oh yeah, there's a creature, it spits like tar in your face like the fucking dinosaur from Jurassic Park, and now you're blinded and you're freaking out, so you can be like both terrified and blind and whatever, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's pretty cookie cutter,
Yeah.
with them.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with like literally the longevity of the problem and the way you can fix it. Like, oh, okay, well, you're paralyzed. Okay, well, I have a spell for that, like an easy spell for that. But like a really bad curse, a little remove curse is not going to solve your problem because that's too easy. Like, okay, well, I mean, it a curse time. Oh yeah, I cast remove curse. It comes off. But like something that like legit curses you is far more detrimental and long term and requires so much more to deal with, which kind of leads to a lot of really interesting story and narrative.
Yeah, a curse break can be a whole quest.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what do you guys think about like curses as plot hooks or like part of a backstory? Because the quest to break a curse is like very classic when it comes to fantasy.
Yeah.
You get a lot of plot out of it, I feel.
I was like, where do I look significantly at Campion in the camera?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to look significantly at somebody over Zoom.
I think it's good. I mean, technically, I technically wrote my curse in Serenity. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
You did, but you also
you
also have done nothing about it, sir.
Okay, slow and steady. It's the slow burn, dude. Slow burn. As long as Campion doesn't die, we're golden, baby. Okay.
And yet he went up that mountain. And yet he went up the mountain.
But yeah, no, I feel like in Campion's case, I feel like it's always, you don't really think about it, because but he thinks about it actively, and especially when more and more information comes about, it's kind of like subtle. Like I kind of release it as subtle as wise, because like in Campion's mind, he's always thought like he's always been different. He's always thought there wasn't anything normal about him, and now that these pieces are starting to come together, he's actively, passively, like he's cataloging this information in the back of his head, and it's always kind of going at it bit by bit, because if he were to go at it all together, he would be freaking out like Perry. And there's already shit going on with a dark god, and their souls already fucked up and all this bullshit. There's a lot of shit that if Campion were to get more shit in there, you'd shut down.
It would be
so
much shit that fits in.
Exactly. So it's like a person, the subconscious is a very great thing. But how long does it take until the subconscious breaks? That's the slow burn, baby. That's the slow fucking burn. Okay?
Wonderful.
I'm playing the long game.
So has Campion been cursed all his life, like had this health condition?
Yes.
So he's grown up with it.
Exactly. But he thought, it was just an ailment. Now it's like, oh, this is some magical shit. Okay, how magical is it? I'm having some very weird, deep. The dreams are getting more vivid. I just slit a dude's throat. Okay, I got hoofs. Okay, some shit going crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think using a curse is a good way to like give a character motivation. Like if you don't, it gives you a reason for your character to need allies. Because like that's one of the struggles is like, why are these people together? Especially if you start with you meet in a tavern and you don't know anybody. But like that kind of hook in someone's story, give them something that they can't fight on their own. You need allies. You meet friends. And I think it's a really interesting way to make sure that there is something to drive a character to join a group and keep going. And I traumatize my characters in backstory a lot. So, I've only had like 2 or 3 that have completely normal backgrounds that they're just happy to be adventuring.
Wonderful. I think that's fun sometimes to just have a character who's an adventurer for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just cool,
Or, it's just my job. My ordinary, normal job.
Yeah, it's like, used to be a carpenter, now I'm an adventurer. We switch careers sometimes. So cursed items, I think, are something that everybody is worried about. on occasion, particularly because they're so hard to detect, like when an item is not just magic, but also like the nasty kind of magic. So I guess the question is, like, you're both pretty experienced players. Is there anything you can do to kind of protect yourself from cursed items without passing up like a whole bunch of cool loot?
Oh.
Like, what's the technique here,
I
guys?
mean, I mean, you can go the whole, safety and inspection or whatever. You can channel your inner Oriana and be like, I got a pearl. Let me identify.
That doesn't
Try to
always reveal curses, though.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
identify
yeah.
curses.
Me, I like what's called fuck it and just a
Valid.
two.
Yeah.
You mean like
Yeah.
put on a
What
cursed
happens,
item, become a
happens.
werewolf, and die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was put on him?
It was mostly my fault.
It's true. He could have taken it off before the
Yeah,
attunement
did I put his character down like a dog?
Yeah, dude.
You did. It was bad.
And then you made me invisible. So
I couldn't fix him.
It was a whole fucking
Oh
thing.
God.
Dude.
To
It
be
was
fair, that
amazing.
was my evil character. To be
It
fair,
was
I don't
amazing,
apologize.
dude.
It was in character the whole time. It's fine, y'all.
Oh.
We were like, don't trust this crazy bitch. And his character was
no.
like, I trust her implicitly.
Well, also, I also wanted the items because like I wanted to turn into a werewolf and also a hellhound. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. So
Pretty dope.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I wanted to be cursed, said
Yeah.
Jay. Please curse me.
Yo, man. Hey, I would have been like a werewolf fighting fucking Strahd. Fighting Strahd. Yo,
Oh
that'd
my
have been
God.
sick as shit, dude. Yo.
I would play a werewolf character. I think that'd
I
be
know,
fun.
I know, that'd
Yeah.
been fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, sometimes you just, the fun in D&D is
Mhm.
chaos, and I'm an agent of chaos, and so I enjoy all things bullshittery, even when it fucks me.
You just gotta enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
Yeah, as seen with, please don't go up the mountain. Please don't go up the mountain.
Bye. I'll be right back. Yeah.
And then when you're a DM, bro, man, yo, I don't know if any of you done it, but man, I give my curse items personalities, bro. Yeah, that's the shit I love.
There is something to be said about a sentient cursed item.
That's good.
Or like a semi-sentient cursed item. It doesn't have to
yeah,
talk. It could just be like have its own like personality. Like it just enjoys fucking you over in different ways. I love that. You get your frustrations out as a DM. Yeah, boy. Who needs a therapist?
Just be a cursed sword.
I'm just making a note of like all the things to be aware of if I ever play in a game DM'd by Jay.
Yeah.
He will use
I'm
me as his
notes.
whipping girl via cursed items.
I am a dangerous person.
Yeah, I've made a note to, like, if I ever play one of your games, to just pick up every item.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pick up every item.
Exactly.
Attune to everything. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Honestly, if it's Jay, I kind of do want to be cursed just to see what he come up with. Yeah, it's like I just want to find out.
I will create a character I am not emotionally attached to at all and then join Jay's game.
No, I'll create a character that I'm emotionally attached to. Then I will get cursed.
Okay, I appreciate all my characters. Ask anyone who's ever played in a I've DM'd for. They're like, oh yeah, man, Jay's cool. Like he gives us a lot of like weapons and like cool shit. But but 50% are fucking cursed, yo. And you will get man. I'm lenient, but when shit hits the fan, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, yeah, you weren't ready.
You picked up that talking sword, even though it calls you a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When I said it was called bitch sword,
you should have thought about that.
So attuned to it. You should have thought. Even though it's a +2 item, you should have thought. Should have
been like, why is it called that? Yeah. Oh, wonderful. So what's the coolest curse that you've like seen, not necessarily affecting your character, but just like seen or read about?
I think it was on a Reddit post where it was a kind of it was a shield that would no, it was a sword that talked to an individual and slowly corrupted them, and at the end
Mhm.
turned them into the big bad. But the characters, the other players, didn't know what the fuck was going on. They didn't know it was a sword, and
Mhm.
so when they finally killed the big bad, the next other character being able to be playable was like, oh, cool sword. They took the sword, and the cycle started all over again.
Oh
It's so good. We're like, it's
Mm-hmm.
an overarching
Uh-huh.
story, and it's just like, it's like, oh, it's because of this, but then like the party never figures it out. I enjoy that. Yeah,
That is cool.
exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of cursed items that have been like really stand out. The thing that I find really interesting is the idea of like the cursed health potion.
Mhm.
Or the and I saw one that was they were like almost cursed mana potions where you could, and I've saved this for a campaign later, the idea of these potions that because spellcasters really want their spell slots
Slots
back.
back.
Mhm.
They want their spell slots back real fucking
So
bad.
much, yeah.
Like
dude.
you could flat kill a warlock with one of these things because they do things like one of the ones I saw was like you took it and then you rolled, and if you rolled a certain number, you just had a failed death save hanging out.
Mhm.
Mm.
So like you were already down a death save even though you'd never died.
Oh shit.
And like that
dude.
shit could stack.
Yeah. Ooh.
It never went away.
No, it went away. Like it would
Okay.
go away on a
But
long
still.
rest.
Okay,
Like
got
you'd have
you.
to you it went away on a long rest.
Okay.
But like you get a warlock that's really fucking desperate.
Yeah, chug a potion, then they roll and they don't know, and then shit's going to.
Oh,
dude.
that's scary. That's good.
Yo,
So like
that's some
I like
psychological
the
shit.
idea of items like that, like especially for your higher level characters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get to this point where we're like super invincible. Like
The
fuck
risk of
you.
war,
I'll
dude.
take on
Yeah.
Strahd.
Yeah.
Marching by yourself.
You march in and try to
Exactly,
1v1 Strahd. Funny story, we almost did that. But like the idea of stuff like that kind of, they have benefits,
Mhm.
but it's high risk, high reward. And I really like that idea almost as much as I like the idea of a sentient curse. Because a sentient curse, you've got to break. Something like that, oh, well, you've done it now. And you're stuck with it.
Yeah. That is cool. I don't have a cool one, but I have a funny one, which I believe I generated during one of the earlier episodes of this show from like an auto item generator. It's a returning throwing axe that makes you deeply empathize with your enemies.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. So like it's a really good item because the throwing axe that returns to your hand, but you will just like feel the pain of every person you're fighting.
Mhm.
The emotional pain.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, dude.
I mean, I like the idea of
Like,
I
I'm
like
sorry.
the idea of like give your barbarian something that like either does psychic damage when he hits, like to him,
That's
like
really
something
cool,
like
yeah.
that, like, oh yeah, no, this is like a blood axe and it does all this damage, but you also take like X amount of psychic damage because you feel the pain you've just caused.
Yeah, and barbarians are used to taking psychic damage usually because they have like mindless rage, which makes them immune to a lot of things.
Yeah, it's like a racial thing. I like it, unless they're yeah.
Cool beans. So as like DMs like coming up with curses and stuff to sprinkle into your campaign, like little tiny bombs. So how do you balance curses so that they are like challenging and scary, but don't leave a player character unplayable?
Oh Jesus Christ!
Serenity is suggesting
Serenity in the back,
killing the
just
character
kill
and
the
simplifying
character.
matters.
Okay, personally for me, I'll think about a curse, right? Like sometimes I'll tailor it to a specific individual depending on like it either follows their storyline or I want them to kind of like go like I want more out of their character if I feel like their character's a little too cookie cutter or like too two-dimensional. Or I will have it to where their curse evolves with them and kind of challenge their morality a little bit. Like you get more power, but the dark side, you're Anakin Skywalker now, which is now.
Yeah.
So what's going on? So yeah, I'll do it like that when I'm trying to figure shit out,
Yeah. I think you kind of have to balance like, and I think one of the best ways to do a curse is like that. Okay, well you're gonna get this benefit, but also it comes with this consequence, and finding that balance where you make the benefit enough to not totally neuter the character, but also you make the penalty enough to make it so it's not really worth it to keep that benefit in the long run. I think that's and especially with like mid-level characters when you don't want to be like murdering them. And I think like using it to draw story forward, to draw development out of a character is a really good way to handle it. Like you've got a character who's all brains and they're like obsessed with research. Okay. Make it better for them to research, but like make that knowledge cost them. Make them, have to realize, okay, well, all the knowledge in the world doesn't do me any good if X is happening.
Yeah. They get what they want, but at what price?
Yeah, it's a lot of at what cost.
Yeah.
It's a really good way to balance it.
That's, I think, the essence of like a cursed magic item. Awesome. And that is our time for today. But I have one more question, not to you guys, but to the viewers. We are looking to add more features to our Patreon page. So we'd like to get some feedback from you about like what things you think would be cool or what type of rewards you want to see. So you can comment here, comment on our YouTube videos, tweet at us, or join our Discord and comment on there. Yeah, or buy a mug from our store and leave a comment there too, There are many avenues by which you can get this information to us, but we do want to know because we're very excited about our Patreon and we're very excited to give the fans like a little bit of behind the scenes content and things like that. The cool stuff that you don't get to see on stream. Thank you for watching. Tune in next week for us talking about the consequences of what happened and tune in on Friday for the actual consequences that we'll then be talking about on Tuesday. It's a nice little cycle we've got going here week by week.
It's almost intentional.
It's almost intentional. Like, yeah, just the way it kind of worked out was really cool with like the scheduling, Anyway, I hope you have a great night. I hope you're staying cool if you're in the zone of this heat wave. It's terrible. Thank you to Sunburn and Lady Meows for doing our music and our logo. And I hope you all have a great night. Bye.
Bye, guys.